everyone wants to fast track this industry, and they want to write 5 mil, 10 mil, whatever it might be per month. So I knew where I wanted to get to. I knew I would get there. And I spoke to Nathan Smith, who has Birdie Well. I said, mate, how can I get to this next stage? Turn your phone around. Filming yourself is hard. Talking about something that's complex and making it simple is really hard. But the better you get at doing that, the better you are as a broker and explaining a complex thing to someone simplified. It just improves your communication skills because it makes me uncomfortable, and anything that's uncomfortable is good for me.
So I don't look at the camera. Did you normally look at it?
I always open with a look at the camera.
Okay, good. There you go.
I always open with that and then gun barrels through.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. We're in the studio today with Michael Killiner from Tusk Finance. Welcome. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me, what were the hesitations you had when, I guess before you decided to make the leap into business ownership?
I think that you've always got the hesitations of self-doubt.
Yep.
Everyone's got self-doubt. And I think you've got the idea of what it could be, but actually doing the work to make it happen is the scary part. And you don't know what the next stage looks like. So I think the hesitation is self-doubt. Yeah.
Was there some financial, because obviously, in your previous role, it was established and you're starting essentially from scratch. So was that a factor?
Yeah, we had a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old.
Wow.
And so that was definitely a factor, but I'm an all-in person. And so if I don't have a backup, then I know I'm going to make it work.
Yep.
And I love working hard too. And that's been instilled from my mum especially. And so that there was a fear around the finance side of it, but not really, not as much as you probably think. Purely because it was I don't have another option.
Yeah, right.
I've got a 2-year-old, a 6-month-old, and I've got to make this work.
So I guess early on, what are some of the biggest lessons you learned when starting the business?
I think you put so much emphasis on the trading name, like a business name. I think that was one of the things that held me back prior to doing it.
Yeah, right.
I was really worried that I wasn't going to have a name that resonated with myself and the brand that I was trying to create. And so I think I put a lot of emphasis on that. But the reality is people are dealing with people. And so the name of the business didn't actually matter. And so I think I wish I didn't put so much pressure on myself for that particular part. Finding the right people to work within the business. You're now wearing a cap of a broker and a HR manager and a business owner.
Yep.
And so trying to get the right people on board is hard. And everyone talks about finding good people is hard. And so I think that's something that I just didn't know, and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But I think the other part around it is the frameworks and the structures you set up in terms of your process. And so we brought people on early, but I didn't understand what frameworks and structures I wanted. And so to try and convey that to someone was almost impossible. And so I think for me, being clearer around the way that I want the process to be, right, then allowed you to bring people on, get a name, all those sort of things.
Yeah, gotcha. So that fundamentally, you can see is the shift in the day-to-day operations that you would have experienced as a loan writer versus a business owner. You've got many new skills you got to learn.
Yeah.
And that not necessarily come naturally, but you have to do them.
Yeah, people are different, and the thing that I'm finding quite challenging myself is I'm driven in a certain way that not everyone else is that way inclined, which is perfectly fine. But I'm struggling to pull my mindset out and say, well, it's okay if someone wants to look at it this way.
Yep.
And so that's the thing that I'm not that good at. And I think the other part about being a broker is I feel that we all, as brokers, feel that we're the best in the world at what we do. And the reality is other people can do something within the business better than you can.
Absolutely.
And the bottleneck in our business is me. The problems in the business are me. So you kind of need to pull yourself out of it as well. So it's quite a fascinating thing. I liken it a lot to being a parent. So you walk into the hospital, you have your kid, and you walk out, you're like, now what do I do? And the same as you register your name, you set that all up, and you go,
What's next?
Now what? And you're kind of learning on the go and talking to other business owners in other fields. Everyone's the same.
Yeah.
Everyone's going, how do I hire people? How do I do this? How do I incentivize? Everyone go, oh, I don't know. Let's figure this out. And so I think being a business owner on that front is, it's quite fascinating that we're all trying to learn through this together.
Absolutely. And we want to foster that a lot more too internally, sharing amongst the group. I want to ask you. I can see the logo on your the TF Tusk. How where did the name come from?
The honest answer is 3 nights of brainstorming with my wife and my dad. Flew Dad down, who now works within the business. A wonderful person, and I love having him. And my wife came up with it, Jemima. She's definitely, it was her idea. We had 3 nights of red wine and we couldn't think of it. And then the final morning, Mima just yells out, Tusk. And I love Fleetwood Mac. I love the song. It revs me up. It gets me excited. And I'm a music person. So that was it. And it needed to be easy to say, easy to spell, completely separate to finance.
Yep.
There's too many names that are
home loan, finance,
lending king, lending queen, and so it had to be completely separate with then finance attached to it, because it needed to be bigger than me, and that's what we want. So the honest answer is my wife and the brains behind it.
Well done. So can you share some strategy? So you came up with a name, you launched the business. What are some gems or things you can share that, in terms of the lead generation? Because again, you're starting a business, you're starting from zero. What's worked for you?
Personal brand. It's all personal brand. I remember there was a period, everyone wants to fast track this industry, in every industry really, and they want to write 5 mil, 10 mil, whatever it might be per month. And I remember being a bit stuck because I knew where I wanted to get to. I knew I would get there. And I spoke to Nathan Smith, who has Birdie Wealth in Sydney, a really wonderful person and good business owner and broker. And I said, mate, how can I get to this next stage? Turn your phone around. That's all he said. You turn your phone around, get your phone facing you, talk to your phone. And so I started doing that and realized as you kept doing it, it's all about personal branding. And now I'm leaning so heavily into that, and will continue to do it because it makes me uncomfortable, and anything that's uncomfortable is good for me. So the lead generation, I find, is the toughest part of the industry that people put so much emphasis on, and there's so many ways you can buy leads now, and I just don't like that part of the industry. But it's clearly a part of the industry because people find it hard to find clients.
They do.
And it's like, how do I do that? Do I put myself on Instagram? Do I go on TikTok? Do I go on LinkedIn? There's just so many options now to put yourself out there. Like which one to actually use? And for me personally, the podcast has been absolutely brilliant. I've really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot from it, and the reality now is that we've linked in the podcast into our website, and Google is now, because of the algorithms, we generate at least 1 lead or appointment from Google every day since it's changed.
Outstanding.
Since it's changed.
So it's indexing the podcast, and so when people are searching on topics, you're appearing and
well, it's more Google My Business. So Google My Business has enough reviews on it, and all of a sudden it's linked in that you've got your YouTube. You've also got LinkedIn, which I will go on to LinkedIn, but that's an amazing lead generation source. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
And so all of a sudden you're pulling all this together, but I wouldn't spread myself too thin. There's just too many options. You just need to focus on 1 or 2.
So if we go back to the podcasting, then how do you structure your week? Do you have a block, a 30-minute block or an hour block on a Tuesday? Is it sporadic? Do you film a bunch and then release them slowly? How do you?
We filmed at least 4 before we started, so we're always 3 or 4 ahead.
Yep.
I'll do 1 a week, and so you're just trying to find time. Firstly, it's trying to find a guest. Secondly, it's getting them to agree to it, and then thirdly, it's then finding a time to make it work. And so I'm booking that in sort of 2, 3. I've got all podcasts booked in for August. So each week has a guest already booked in.
Yep.
And then the minis go for 5 to 10 minutes. So I would do just a bunch. I'll do 4 minis. The minis are categorically the best thing that we have started this year, because you're filming yourself is hard. Talking about something that's complex and making it simple is really hard. But the better you get at doing that, the better you are as a broker and explaining a complex thing to someone simplified. It just improves your communication skills.
Yeah.
Categorically.
Yeah, wow, fantastic.
Full stop. Like it's amazing. And so Ed's been a broker within Tusk for 6 months now, and he has released and done a video every day since he started. And he was not social media was completely away from him. And the thing that he's loving is the videos and being able to articulate something that is important for people to listen to.
Yep.
In really small bites.
So, and is he using his phone?
Yep.
And where is he posting those? Is he posting them to
Instagram and LinkedIn?
Okay.
Yeah. And you're not going to get a lead generation machine overnight.
You build it up progressively.
Absolutely. And so the thing I found hard initially was I was really caught up in the impressions, the likes, the comments. You just naturally do. And then all of a sudden you bump into somebody at a barbecue and they go, hey, I saw that video. And you go, well, why didn't you like it? Like, because I had no idea you saw it.
Yeah.
But now I know you've seen it. And then I think, well, how many other people have seen it, but they're not actually engaging with it?
Yep.
And I think that's part of the problem with people doing social media is you want this instant gratification and you just don't get it.
Right.
And so as soon as you remove that and you realize if I help one person with this video, job done.
Yeah, perfect.
That's it. Like that's it. And so Ed's really loving that. Doesn't like the social media side.
Yep.
And so I've spoken to a few like new to industry brokers recently, and they're like, I don't want to post on this. Fine, just do a video. Don't post anywhere. Do a video every single day of a topic. Don't post it. Keep it in a library, and then eventually you'll go, let's just put it out there. And the amazing thing about putting something out there in social media is if it doesn't do well, no one sees it.
Yeah,
so it doesn't even matter. So it may as well just sat in your library in your phone anyway.
Yep.
Or put it out there and some people see it and they go, that's interesting. Or it's not interesting, it doesn't matter.
And how do you select your topics? Do you look at, that loan applications you've done over the last month and go, oh, okay, I've had people didn't understand these things, that becomes topics. How do you generate
down, journal.
Yeah, journal.
Yeah, journal.
Okay.
Journal everything. I learned that a lot from real estate and working with mum, because there's so many objections in real estate. And so I was constantly writing down objections. And you were leading with the objection. I'll tell you what my commission is. Like, they're going to ask, why don't you just leave with it? And so from that mentality was, let's just write down everything that gets raised that's interesting. And then all of a sudden, every single day, like, oh, there's something every day. Or just tell someone a scenario that you just did. It's just like, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just something.
And you're getting your content out there, your brand out there.
And you're just improving yourself. The brand is the key. So the podcast on that is now the business owner, because I generally only have business owners on there. They're then, whenever I'm at a function or an event, as soon as it comes up, because it naturally does, because they talk about it, because people love talking about themselves, they all of a sudden, they go, oh, I was on his podcast. Actually, you'll be great on his podcast. And you've all of a sudden got this authority that you just didn't have before.
Yep.
And they go, oh, like you're talking and you're explaining things. I'll go on that. That's great. And so really good example. The best, highest performing real estate agent in Perth. I really wanted to get her on, and I didn't know how. I felt quite intimidated. I don't know why. It's weird, but just a human. But I know she does some amazing stuff within the industry. I had coffee with a mate who knows her last week, and I was like, oh, can you link me in? Like, how can you do the intro? And he goes, yeah, I can. And then at the end, he goes, actually, you just call her. I went, nah. I can't do that. She might be busy. And I was thinking, I used to do 100 cold calls a day. Of course I can call this person. Anyway, called her, left a message. She never, no, she called back. Then she called back, but as soon as she's like, looked up your name. Of course, all this stuff comes up. The pod's there. And then she go, and so she then sees what the pod's about. So she's already almost said yes before I even got a chance to ask her.
Brilliant.
I was like, so sat with Rowan and I think you've got so much to offer and I'd love to talk about property and your journey as an agent. She go, yeah, send it through to me. Just, I know you've seen it already, but send it through to me. And I just want to make sure it's within the brand. She works with the Ray White, and all of a sudden sent it through, booked in within 15 minutes. I was thinking, that's amazing. I was so intimidated.
Yep.
You make the call, get it done, and that happened last week, and I'm super pumped. So all of a sudden, you putting yourself out there more, people then more willing to then join
Absolutely
that journey.
And in addition to that, you're now anyone that searches Michael Killiner, if they're consumers, they also see that you're an authority in your field now, right? And they're like, oh,
which I'm just not.
Make it to you, make it. No.
yeah. But you all of a sudden, you do create this, and and we were talking about it off air. I had a wonderful podcast with Jordan Lewis yesterday. When would I ever have had the chance to sit down with someone who's won 4 premierships and them to truly give me an hour of their time? How would I have ever done? Why would that have ever come up? And he was amazing. And all of a sudden you're at this, but you're completely neutral. There's no hierarchy because they're a guest on your podcast. Well,
just having a chat.
Just having a chat. And podcasting is obviously it's the new kind of rage, and people are all about it. And just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly right.
Just give it a crack. And I think there's so much about this industry that people question themselves on. And how did you write so many numbers? What's the success? I just gave it a crack.
Yep. Yeah, you got to.
What's the worst that can happen? Same as that phone call.
Exactly right.
As soon as he said just call, I was like, no. Then I went, actually,
why not?
What you going to do? And so I did 2.5 years of door knocking in Darwin with Mum as a real estate agent. And so I'd do 2 hours a day, 1 hour, suited up and everything. And it was the worst time of my life. And it taught me so much. And people are like, surely you just got like abuse and
right.
No, I got two altercations in 2 years. Everyone else is just so lovely in face to face. No one ever, like, maybe behind the door they're like, gee, that guy, but face, like, no one does anything. Like, everyone's polite. So you call someone and all the cold calling you do, no one goes, leave me alone, you jerk. Like, they'll give you the time of the day because you've made the effort. And then afterwards they do or they don't, but just pick up the phone.
If you don't try, you're not going to know the result, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and you play out all of these outcomes in your mind and none of it eventuates. And it's just stuck on you. So there's a really good book by Brian Tracy called Eat the Frog.
Yep.
And the whole notion is, it's older than Brian Tracy, but the whole notion is something that's difficult, just do it, because otherwise it just lingers. So you just do it the first thing in the morning.
Yep, get it out of the way.
Out of the way, you've accomplished something for the day. Same as make your bed in the morning kind of thing.
Yep.
Accomplish something for the day. The rest of the day's downhill. Easy. And so I don't know, for anyone that's doing it, I know Ed does all his videos at the very start of the day. He gets in, he just quickly checks emails, off he goes to do his videos, or video, and then that's done. And then he's already accomplished for the day.
So this is brilliant. So in terms of, you've mentioned Ed a couple of times. How have you structured your business? We'll talk about LinkedIn in a minute, because you also mentioned LinkedIn's a phenomenal tool. So how have you structured your business in terms of supporting you?
I don't know.
No. As in you've got. Others.
No, I know what you mean, but it's still this, like, I just don't. There's no one really to turn to other than your peers, and everyone's doing it differently within broking.
Yeah.
And everyone's got the new way, but no one actually knows what they're doing. Everyone thinks they have an idea, but no one really knows. And because everyone's trying to improve, especially the successful ones. And so in terms of our structure, it's completely horizontal, which I love. So there's myself, there's Ed, we got Lou, who was a BDM, who's like client relations, and she's amazing. We've got 2 overseas that do a lot of the submissions, the data entry,
Gotcha.
a lot of communications. I want them to be involved in the process. I don't want them to hide behind an email. So they're there. And then I've got Dad. we've got Roselle here. I'd love to then bring someone in here as a credit analyst with Roselle. And then we've got Mima, who oversees everything and frameworks, processes. She's just a gun at that. As I said, find someone that's better at something than you are and get them to do it. So,
Absolutely.
and Mimes is amazing at it. And so she doesn't want to be involved day to day.
Yep.
But that's the current structure. As I said, I'd love to have a credit analyst there. I'd love to remove myself, so I'm doing more of this sort of stuff.
You need to belong to an aggregator. You chose to partner with the MoneyQuest group. How has MQG played a role in helping you scale up?
It's funny, that question around aggregation comes up so much, especially for anyone that's thinking about moving out on their own or looking to look at another aggregator. And my honest answer is it doesn't really matter on the aggregation. It's all about the people.
Yep.
Because everyone's got their own software. The software's all fairly similar. And the people that are within MoneyQuest Group is the sole reason why I chose that, and it's the sole reason why I'll continue to advocate for the group, because I love the people. And obviously Mike Russell was the head honcho. He's no longer the head honcho, but he's still there as a main person. Yourself, Sean, Jules, like there's just these Simon, what a legend. And there's just these wonderful people that I feel supported. And it's a lonely, it can be really lonely when you're a business owner, especially as a broker, because you're dealing with other people's problems all day.
Yeah.
And then you're dealing with your own staff as well. And then your kids and then everything else. And you go, well, hang on, where do I need some support myself personally and professionally. And I feel that is where the aggregation comes in.
Yeah, brilliant.
In all honesty, the splits, the software, all that stuff doesn't really matter. It's just the people, and I'm a huge advocate.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I mean, you would have to say that most aggregators have similar panels, lending panels. Yeah, as you said, the software. So, right, it comes down to the people and the support that you get.
Yeah, and can I pick up the phone? The transition from one aggregation to another, it can be quite complex and delayed. And all of a sudden, you've got someone that you can text like Mike Russell or Simon, that things get done, and they genuinely want to help you succeed,
Build your business.
And I think having that support there, whether I speak to them every week or not, doesn't matter. I know that I can just call, and that's the main thing.
Brilliant. Fantastic for us. That's great feedback. What advice would you give to a high-performing loan writer that's considering, setting up their own business?
I'd probably get them to reflect on why they want their own business.
Yep.
To be honest, I think, as I said, doing this on your own is lonely. And lucky I've got my wife, Jemima, as a business partner and trying to drive this together with the team. But I think if you're a successful loan writer within a business, you truly need to understand why you want to create your own brand.
Yep.
For me, there's some circumstances that were out of my control, and so it just naturally then happened. But I think if you've got a really good working relationship with the other business partners or whatever it might be, then driving that and growing it together is a much better way of doing it. Going out on your own and maybe you get more commission, but more commission of not much. Like I just don't see the benefit on going out on your own if you can do this together. I think our industry will go through a lot of change in the next 3 to 5 years. I think it will shrink. It's grown exponentially. I think it will shrink, and I think the more support you have within a business is the ones that will succeed.
Yep.
I think the mums or the dads sitting at their kitchen bench, I think those days were starting to become limited.
Yep.
And so if you're a part of a successful business, you need to ask yourself, am I leaving for the right reasons?
Yeah, right.
Do I want to create my own brand, and do I want to do something, or can I do this with the people I'm already doing it with?
Yeah, brilliant. No, that's a fair question.
Yeah.
That's definitely a fair question. I think a lot of people think it's also easy to step out and run their own business, and there are other challenges that you face, but obviously it's also extremely rewarding. So good advice. So if you look back now, so you've been operating your business for a couple of years. If you look back, would you have done anything different?
No.
From day one?
No. I'm such a forward thinker. And anything that I've done that I didn't do as well as I thought, I needed to learn from it anyway.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And so I just don't look back and go that we've gone through some tough things, and the starting and the creation of the business was a really, really difficult period for us. And would you have changed that? I wouldn't. It hurt and it was hard, but the best part is that it made this bit even more rewarding.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm such a forward thinker. Like tomorrow is always going to be better than the past. And so would I change anything? Absolutely not. I don't regret anything. Do I wish I did things differently? No, because I wouldn't have learned from it.
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
so have I done everything right? Definitely not. Definitely not. And I'm learning and I'm human, and I think that's the best part. And I think the ability to call yourself out and have your own accountability
Yep.
is so incredibly important, and to react from that. And the reaction to that is what actually makes it. And so you make a mistake, but how do I react?
Yep.
And I think that's the key. And we don't always react in the way we want. You still just have to learn.
Absolutely.
That's the only way to do it. It's the same as parenting. Like you have no idea how to respond to a certain situation until you're in it.
Yep.
And then you go, wow, this is not how I expected it to play out. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
Brilliant. Well, look,
Yeah.
I want to thank you very much for your time today. Michael Killiner from Tusk Finance. You're an absolute legend. So thanks again. And hopefully our viewers enjoy your pearls of wisdom.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Cheers.